First alert for today is all about the heat. We do have severe thunderstorms on the horizon, but the heat's going to be a big deal for today. So we got heat advisories in effect until 9 p.m. through tonight, and those are for heat and seas just south of the lake for northwestern Wisconsin, except for Superior, and Pine County in Minnesota for heat and seas from 90 to 100 degrees. And I think other areas might also get up to that range. So let's time it out to here, the heat index, because it won't be terrible the entire day. Here, starting out through the morning, we'll be into the 70s, so the heat index will match the temperatures pretty closely here. Then by the lunchtime hour or around 1 o'clock, we should see heat in the seas reaching into the mid-80s, potentially near 90 as we get towards Hinckley in the early afternoon hours. And then by the late afternoon hours, this is when we could really see our upper 90s for heat in the seas, especially down towards the south. We could see 90s up here and as well towards the Iron Range as you get further away from the lake. I think the lake breeze is going to help us here in Duluth and in Superior and perhaps up into Harvest for us to stay a little bit cooler than the rest of the area. But we are going to see very high heat in the seas just down to our south. And so that will continue through the late afternoon, and then by the evening it should cool off thanks to some thunderstorms that may move through the area. Right now, we do have a line of thunderstorms that's still tracking their way towards our region so far. They're just on the doorstep here in Bemidji, but notice the colors here. It was really a red and orange, like consolidated line, but now it's starting to break apart a little bit, and that's good news because that means the severe nature of these storms will probably not advance into our region. So we will see some rain showers and perhaps some rumbles of thunder, but I think the severe part of that is generally over, especially as you get further east into our region. Here you can really see the thunderstorms out to our west, but in the immediate area, we're not really seeing any precipitation. Perhaps just a few thunderstorms forming out ahead of it down here off of I-35. And so that will be continuing to be the case throughout the rest of the day. But let's time everything out here. So we got the initial round of thunderstorms here through 8 o'clock this morning affecting western and north central portions of Minnesota. That will move on out. We might see a straight thunderstorm or shower along the lake because of the lake breeze, which helps enhance some development for some thunderstorms. And so that's what these chances of little pockets of rain are. Temperatures will be into the 80s and heat in the seas will be into the upper 90s, especially down towards the south. Then we have a second round of thunderstorms out to our west, and that's when that could lead to more severe weather out there. And that will begin to make its way into the region by about 10 o'clock tonight into the Iron Range area, and then by about 12 o'clock midnight, it'll be into the greater area along the I-35 corridor. After that, we'll begin to continue seeing it into the I-30 and into northwestern Wisconsin and the UP. Temperatures behind it will cool down back into the 60s, so we are seeing refreshing conditions behind that. But then on Saturday, we could see an isolated storm here in northwestern Wisconsin as the rest of the front begins to move through. But look at our temperatures, much cooler than what we're seeing today, and so it should be much more refreshing through tomorrow with dropping humidity through the rest of Saturday. And so here's our storm outlook for tonight. We've got a level 2 out of 5 risk for much of the Northland here, including parts of the UP, and so that's going to be for the damaging wind factor that's likely to be the biggest threat here. It's not super high, but it is definitely possible across much of the area, especially for areas out towards the west. So let's take a look at your 7-day forecast here, where we've got 80s in store for pretty much the rest of the weekend and across the work week. The biggest difference here is the humidity. Because today will be hot and the system will be moving through, the cold front's going to drop not our temperatures, but it will drop our dew points and therefore the moisture, and therefore we will lead to more refreshing conditions by the next work week.